So a few weeks ago, we talked about how there was a high-level official in the Marianne Williamson campaign who confirmed to me that the DNC is officially trying to shut her out of various states. She was supposed to give a speech to young Democrats in a certain state, and they pulled the plug on that. The campaign paid for this voter data, which usually any candidate can get their hands on, and then they ghosted the Marianne campaign and didn't deliver on that voting data, effectively shielding them from getting in touch with Democratic voters and robbing them at the same time. And, look, you might look at that and say, holy cow, that's wild. But what is really going on here? Is it like some individual incompetent people or what? Well, Marianne has some thoughts on that, and it's a lot more nefarious and deeper than you think. So let's watch. Here she is on TYT, and they address this.
As you're living this now for the second time, what is it that you think actually causes that mechanism? How does it get put into play? Because I don't think it's a memo. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think the New York Times and the Washington Post talk and say, hey, let's make sure we keep out Marianne.
I think they do.
Okay, interesting. Go ahead.
I absolutely think they do. I can't tell you how many times we've been booked and then it's canceled.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they do. She's not, don't have her on. Absolutely, you better believe it, don't have her on. Yeah, no, that's exactly how it works. And the hit pieces and the smears and the president's press secretary coming onto the podium at the White House to mock me. Absolutely, it's intentional. And it's intentional because they know that I'm saying the things. It's not like they don't know that these are the popular positions. They do know that these are the popular positions, so they say, don't let her on to say it, because she could start a wildfire. And that's why I feel that the 10% I have, given the blackballing, given the hits, I'm thinking we're doing pretty well.
Let's stop and think about that for a second. There was a New York Times poll that just came out, which is a gold standard poll. She was still at 10% in that poll with a complete media blackout. 10% is higher than a lot of these candidates who are being taken very seriously. Mike Pence gets taken very seriously. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's been surging recently, is taken very seriously. They're at about 10%. In some polls, Vivek and Mike Pence are below 10%. So Marianne Williamson is polling only behind Trump, DeSantis in most polls, and Biden and RFK. So all these other people who are getting serious coverage, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, why are they getting more coverage and more positive coverage than Marianne Williamson when she's at 10% despite a complete media blackout? It's dark, man. This is dark stuff. Okay, now they go on. She talks more about this a little bit later in the interview. Let's listen.
Anything that leads you to believe the institutional power of the Biden administration affecting decisions, whether it's the DNC or affecting the media itself?
All I know is we'll make a deal with a vendor and then get a call from the vendor. Oh, I'm really sorry. We really like you, but we can't do this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, over and over and over again. And there's one state, I don't want to say what it is. I can't, we try to hire someone and they're really excited. And then 2 days later, I'm really sorry, I'm not going to be able to do this. Clearly, whether it's as simple as if you help her, you will not work in this town again. You will not work for the DNC. Oh, it's smutty out there.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
It's like, wow.
So according to Marianne, what she's saying, oh no, this is definitely intentional. This is definitely intentional. They're putting their finger on the scale. Listen, Marianne, and again, I know this from high up officials in the Marianne campaign. She's trying to go on as many media outlets as possible and get her message out wherever possible. And what'll happen is MSNBC, CNN, maybe, if she's lucky, she'll get on one of their like C or D tier shows that has very few viewers, right? Somebody who's tucked away on the weekend or something, or somebody who's on the MSNBC streaming platform. And she's lucky if she even gets that, and then she'll go on. She doesn't get invited back. None of the big shows invite her on. There's been instances where she's had something settled and then she gets bumped and booted for somebody else to come in and do the interview. The only mainstream media outlet that will have her is Fox News. And understand, the reason why they're okay with having her is simply because they want to bring about what they view as chaos on the Democratic side. They want to use Marianne as a vessel to attack Biden, even if it's from the left, because they don't care. As long as Biden's being attacked, they don't care how you're doing it. They don't care the nature of how you're doing it. They just want to drag Biden down. So they bring her on and they try to get her to play the game where it's like, we only want you to attack Biden. Now, thankfully, Marianne is smart and she's nuanced and she's intelligent and she knows the game that they're playing, and she'll go in there and she'll make some points against Biden, of course. But she never goes only against Biden. She always makes sure to go after the hosts themselves, whether it's Sean Hannity or go after Donald Trump and everything that's going on with him, because she doesn't want to play this game where she's just a useful puppet to the right. She's better than that. But stop and think about how difficult it is with all of these hurdles in your way. And then also understand when people talk about the Democratic Party or the DNC rigging the election, this is what they mean. Clearly putting their thumb on the scale in one direction and deciding from the top down, this thing is over, this thing is done. You don't even have to like Marianne. I certainly don't like RFK. And I think these people have a right to debate Joe Biden. You're telling me a president is running for re-election and they have challengers and the challengers are polling at like 10%, 14%. And they could just choose? No, I'm not going to debate. No. It should be a law. They should have to debate. As soon as people realize there's another option, they're going to jump ship even more. And they know that, and that's why they're afraid. Because Joe Biden, no matter what you think of Joe Biden, no matter what you think of his policies, the fact of the matter is, just with the eye test, you look at him and you go, homie's past his prime, right? He's struggling. It's hard for him to put together a sentence. It's hard for him to work after like 5 o'clock at night because he's so damn old. Now, I'm not knocking on him for that. It happens. Everybody ages. But the fact of the matter is, they're trying to protect him. They're trying to create a safe space. They're trying to make it so people don't know there are other options. And then here we are. And, credit to TYT for having Marianne Williamson on. Credit to all the different independent media outlets that have her on. Credit to the, the News Nations if they have her on. Even Fox News when they have her on. When random, rarely, CNN or MSNBC. Credit to them. But it's like we have to try to work around this colossal bias because what the hell else are we going to do? Guys, what happened is Bernie Sanders did start a wildfire. He did show the left is still alive and well. He did light a fire under everybody. He did make them believe in Medicare for all, and a living wage, and all these great policies and unions, et cetera, et cetera. And now they're like, do not let that happen again. Do not let that happen again. So the real reason they don't want Marianne Williamson to get her word out at all is very simple. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is what she's running on. The right to a job that pays a living wage. The right to a voice in the workplace through a union. Right to a living wage and right to a union. Right to quality universal health care. That's Medicare for all. Right to a cost-free higher education, free college. Right to good affordable housing. Right to a roof over your head. The right to clean environment and healthy planet. The right to a meaningful endowment of resources at birth, the right to sound banking and financial services, the right to an equitable and fair justice system, the right to cultural and civic involvement and democratic life. That sounds to me like automatic voter registration and getting people involved. This is a platform that's even to the left of what Bernie was running on. This should be giant news. People need to know they have this option. Not the same old, not somebody who's still got one foot in the neoliberal era and one foot barely out of it. People need to know this is an option. Also, by the way, a president who can complete a full sentence and has all their cognitive faculties about them. People need to know this. And this is why, by the way, I've been fighting as much as I can what I view as doomerism and nihilism on the left. People who not only like to sit on the sidelines, but they also want to throw stones at people who are still trying to make a difference. I'm fighting a war against that because when given what you want, take yes for an answer. Marianne is what we want. You might have minor disagreements with her here and there. I certainly do. That's immaterial. When we have 90 to 95% agreement on the policies and she's out there and she's throwing her hat into the ring and she's fighting, it's incumbent upon us to also be there to fight for her. Now, how you do that is totally up to you. Is it just making a donation? Okay, God bless. Is it volunteering for her campaign? Okay, God bless. Is it trying to spread her message far and wide however you can? Even if you have a small social media following or whatever, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Threads, whatever it is. Is that what it's called? Threads, the Facebook one? Anyway, listen, spread it. Get it out there. Pester media figures. Hey, why don't you have her on? Hey, you should have her on. It's so disheartening that we have a person who's fighting for the right things, really putting their all out there, really doing it in the only viable path to power, which is through the Democratic Party. And there's still, a yawn from a lot of people, and people are still feel burned by 2016 and 2020. Up and at 'em. We've all been there. I've been there. Everybody's been there. Let's not manifest into reality. It's not, she's not serious. Why? Go one level deeper. Why? Why is she not serious? Maybe, just maybe, it's because of exactly what she's describing here. That they're enforcing the idea that she's not serious by blackballing her, by keeping her from vendors, by keeping her from getting voter data, by keeping her off of CNN and MSNBC. Maybe that has a lot to do with it, by pretending she doesn't even exist, smugly dismissing her and saying, of course we're not going to debate you. Again, you don't even have to like her to support a debate, to support an exchange of ideas and policies with Joe Biden. Anyway, there you have it. Again, credit to TYT. Marianne's going through a lot right now. She deserves all of our backing, all of our support. We need to fight for her. And it's as simple as that. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much, as always. Thank you for listening to me babble on a daily basis. Everybody knows the deal. Shameless plugs. Everybody click like, click subscribe. Still desperately trying to head of breaking points, but keep ahead. But they're catching up, man. Don't let them pass me. Are you going to let them pass me? You're going to let them pass me. I love my wife. I love her, but I want to stay ahead of breaking points. Click subscribe, bro. That's all I ask of you. Also, click that bell icon so you get a little notification every time a video drops. And remember, you can always support the show on Patreon, link below. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser. I'm very proud of that fact. You guys support this show through small dollar donations. You can also tip on YouTube with the thanks button. Much love to everybody who does that. You guys mean the world to me, and you guys keep us going. And yeah, by the way, tune into Crystal Kyle and Friends this week. Link for that is below as well. You can sign up for free and get the audio version of the podcast, or you can pay $5 a month to get the video version of the podcast. But we're going to have a great debate with Michael Tracy about the Trump indictments and criminal charges. I think they are perfectly legitimate and correct, and he thinks they're total BS. So it should be a fun debate. It might get heated. Definitely look for that. All right, guys. I love you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.